Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Open Forum of Outside the Box. I'm your host, Kate of Gaia, just waiting for Tony to get here, and I promise you tonight will be one of those nights. And of course we have Carol joining us as well, and I have another individual that joined us last night, right exactly when he was supposed to, MJ, and we're going to start doing some fun tonight. Not like it hasn't been fun already, but it's going to be different. There's a few things that I want to cover off the top here. I get asked a lot of questions every day, and of course I get hammered with a lot of stuff too. So I'm going to do my best to dispel a few things using words. Let's do this first. Let's go with the term. Have you ever heard the term? The deceivers are everywhere. Beware of false prophets. Chances are, if you were raised in a religio-cosus Christian genre, that's all it is. Welcome to the Grand Illusion. Welcome to the stage. We're going to check to see if you're in your proper care actor, and we'll go from there. And for those that thought I said prophets as in P-R-O-P-H-E-T-S, No. You see, my intention is completely different. I know what I'm saying because the spells are broken. The sigils are now in the mirror. False prophets. That's basically any money you think you're making. So here's a little clue for everybody. And I'm going to do a little shout out to Ian. Ian of Scotland. He knows who he is. I've had many conversations, all one-sided, because apparently people can't understand that I can't write back messages in Facebook. So, but I'll tell you this: you can attack me all day long, my friend. You can disparage and do whatever you want to satisfy whatever ego it is you need to satisfy. But the second you attack any one of my friends, you're going to meet the lion, and I will devour you. I promise. You come anywhere near anyone other than me, yeah. Different game. Alright, so that's why you're blocked. Nothing to do with me. I'll take you on any day of the week. Apparently he has a concept of free will choice that he's, not getting. Yeah, maybe you should listen to some of my shows, really listen to them. And when I talk about the present, we're going into the Wizard of Oz land tonight, by the way. The present, which is not the now and it's not the present as you know it. What the present is the predetermined aspect. This game is already written. We are just traveling back through it. If you need proof of that, just remember deja vu. That funny feeling that you've already been here before. Of course you have. We had to travel through it once, now we're on our way back. Right? There's nothing new under the sun. End of story. Alright, so this is what free will choice is. Now we have a free will choice within the already predetermined game. And that free will choice is to either find our hearts and move up levels or down. It's an infinite game, and the only free will choice we have is where we want to play in a predetermined game, because every game you're going to play is already predetermined, the outcome. You see, unfortunately, being a god as you are, you already know all the answers. You see, I don't talk about anything that you don't already know. I don't talk about a thing that you don't know. And you'll know truth when you hear it, because it's the one thing that resonates within you is something you already knew, just forgot. So I'm not teaching a damn thing. I'm just remembering. Okay? I'm remembering who and what it is that I truly am and where I want to play in this game. That's my free will choice, to play in the predetermined game. It was a movie, I can't remember the name of it right now, but I can certainly see it. And yeah, the master plan can be altered, but it's still going to be the final outcome is predetermined. So in that regard, there is no free will choice. Absolutely not. But you do have the free will choice to either be Homo sapiens, which is of the earth, Homo, sapiens, animal, beast, or Homo novus, which is of the earth, new. So I choose the latter. If you want to continue on playing your little meat stick games, that's fine. We're going to try to get you right outside the box tonight. And I know with the combined efforts of, and by the way, Moose, I see your hand up in there, so don't worry, we're going to get into that. Just a few things that I want to cover first. So hang 10, and still waiting for Tony, of course. I'm sure he's having, oh, there he is. I'll say a quick hi before I really get ripping tonight. But I do also want Carol and MJ to pop in and say hi before we get going, and then it's wide open for them, guys, so I'm going to try to set the pace here, set the direction, and we're going to see if you're awake or not. Hey, Tony, how are you?
Not too bad now. Finally managed to get through all the bullshit and get in.
I kind of figured that. Yeah, tonight of all nights. I promise you by the time this show's over, there's going to be a whole lot of jaws dropped. Promise.
Good. Looking forward to it.
Well, yeah, you know. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of information popping out there now.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking at some information on disclosure that's been going off in America. And there's an awful lot of very good people, some of whom have been on this show. Gary Hesseltine, Paul Hellier, and they are really breaking jaws out there in America with the disclosure. The information that's coming across is absolutely incredible. And I will be posting an article I've been working on for hours and hours today with a whole list of video interviews on Syncrenicity tomorrow, blowing the crap right off of the whole subject. And it's going to be awesome. What's going to follow this is going to be incredible. So watch this space. Good.
I kind of figured that, because given on what has been going on inside my little universe here all day, I was expecting nothing but change when I got back to my computer. I was out and about for the day. Went out and had coffee with Vicky, and stopped by and saw my puppies. Didn't get to hold them or anything. Sue wasn't home, so I just got to look at them through the glass again. That's okay. They, as long as they get into my aura and I get into theirs, I'm good. They know love, and theirs is obviously unconditional, and no harm, no foul. Time to bring this one home tonight, boys and girls. We do this together, so I'm going to be reaching out in the most powerful way I possibly can, because the false prophets are everywhere. And before we get into what Tony was talking about, we are going to touch on that as well. I'd already started to talk about the deceivers and the false prophets. Someone had posted with regards to OPPT. Okay, I made a little post yesterday. Anyone that is out chasing things like UCC, bonds, UPU, OPPT, anything within the illusional system, if you are out chasing carrots, you are the same as a slave that's sitting in a dungeon playing with its chains just to hear how pretty it sounds, all the while hoping that the whore of Babylon will sleep with you. Quote me. And I'm going to show you why. If you are chasing false prophets, i.e. anything in the fictional money, you are chasing the literal skin of your fellow man. You are cannibalizing. Because when people understand that the bonds and all the money that you think is real, which isn't, it's all debt. And I'm going to tell you why. It's a servitude of slavery debt that was placed onto the bonds as an obligation to the gift your parents gave the system called the name. And in that, they also had a bit of an intellectual property spiritual contract that we somehow missed, not anymore, which was to claim the divine feminine creative essence, the stir, your bow to stern, the ship, which is you, the mind. That's what ancient etymology for ship is, mind. That's why they have ownership. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples here. These are real things that you can go and please check it out. You ever got pulled over and they asked you for an ownership? Have you ever handed it to them? If someone says, do you own that car? And if you say yes, you're a liar and a thief. They got you coming and going, guys. Right? If it's registered, who owns it? Not you. Well, they own the numbers and the concept thereof. But the simple fact is, if you're claiming ownership of a car or house or anything, you're actually committing fraud. And you're one of the thieves on each side of the center hold the light cross. That's the one I'm bearing. It's the one I chose to bear. It was heavy, but it's getting much, much lighter every day. Today it is featherweight. false prophets, anything that you think is going to reap you a material reward, be it money, wealth of any kind. And I'm going to balance this out, so we need to change the intent. This is where I'm going. This is not about, oh, filthy lucre, it's all evil. Well, of course it is, but it's all good too. But you have to change your intent, and you have to change your understanding of it. At least this is what I did. When you understand that the obligation that the crown, that's the false crown, the triple crown called Vatican, London, DC, direct current. Okay, that's the false crown, triple crown, right? That's their holy trinity. And that's the crown that you were attempting to wear every time you play in their little system. By claiming things that aren't yours, especially your name. Oh, that's where they get you with consent, right out of the gate. They own you if you think you own the name at all. Because that utterance that your parents said, and I don't care what the name is, what the name was, it's all in the sound. Doesn't matter how you spell it. It's all in the sound. And that's the power of you. You have spirit breath. You are the key rho. Look at the sigil of the Vatican. And this one just clicked the other day. The key rho, which is the X and the P, which is in the mirror, by the way. Rho is actually like a P with it facing to the left, and it's pointed, versus facing to the right, which is rounded. Okay? Key, which is X in our alphabet, looks like X. And it also, if you were to spell it out, C-H-I or C-H-E-E for the sound, you'd also come across a Chinese word with the same sound, qi, by coincidence. And that same sound means life. Alright? So X marks the spot, boys and girls, and you're it. So I'm going to show you how the mark of the beast has you owned and how you're chasing false prophets. And here's your free will choice. You can continue, or you can change your intent and play a slightly different game, one in the mirror. So we have key rho. Now, rho is a very, very, very special letter in the Greek alphabet. And it sounds like this. Roll. It rolls off your tongue. You know, like for those in Canada who, you know, get the Tim Hortons thing going on, they have a competition. It wasn't too obvious. Well, it's not a competition. It's like a, you know, giveaway, right? Free poison or whatever. And they have a thing called roll up the rim to win, and they use a Scottish accent of all things. You know, I will say that about the Scots. At least they remembered what the R should sound like, which is the rho. So when you see the sigil of Rome, which is the Triple Crown, have a look at the Pope's crown. Why is there 3 rings on it? Well, everything goes back to the Vatican. Everything. I mean, they control all the world's insurances, and that's where the blue sky bonds, i.e. your birth certificates, go to through Venice, which just so happens to be a city on the sea. Well, the streets in Venice are waterways. Where else would you put something to keep it at sea? And that's where all the insurances on this planet go through, Venice. Isn't that interesting? And we uncovered this back November, December, I think, something like that. I'm just starting to put all these pieces together where I can explain them to you. Getting back to the false prophets, it's all debt. When you're chasing after money thinking it's going to take care of you, what you're asking for is a savior outside of yourself, which is the rest of mankind. So it's a bit of a burden you're placing on yourself. You know, 7 billion debts that you are now liable for. So let's change this around. This is not about chasing the filthy lucre. This is about re-energizing it into what it was meant to be, and it will be gone, no question. You see, because when you give a gift of any kind, if there's an obligation attached to it at all, it's not a gift. And this is one of the things I found, especially early on in the free man, sovereign citizen, whatever you want to call the Manchurian candidate trigger words. And one of the things I found, and this was an interesting development for me. I mean, I learned a lot from it. Because I'll tell you, as soon as the Judge Vows to Sovereign video came out, I would have meetings in my place. I've still got the videos of it and what have you. And, people would show up in droves. Because they wanted to figure out how they can solve their, get their free money from Visa, get this solved, get that solved, and get the rest of it. But I'll tell you, the last meeting, I said, I came to the understanding that I'm not helping anyone by doing this. I'm just indebting them more. So I had a lot of early on epiphanies that unfortunately, people were not, Jack Nicholson said it best. Truth, you can't handle the truth. And this is a very tough pill to swallow. And my feeling is that so many of you listening right now will never be able to swallow this. Because until you let go of this illusion, until you let go of the chains, until you get your fingers out of the Chinese finger trap called commerce, or consumeria, consumer. Sumeria, Babylon. Sound familiar? So if you're a consumerian, let's call you what you are. Then you are literally cannibalizing your fellow brothers and sisters. And I would simply ask to maybe change your intent and stop. And start seeing it for what it is. If you were giving anything, give it with the intent to not have any obligation attached to it. And for many of you who have listened for a long time, I think Tony and I and Santo we're some of the few out there that we don't go screaming, looking, and we've done it in states of panic, a year ago. But I'll tell you right now, you won't hear us going, well, you got to, donate, for X number of dollars a month, you can have this, that, and the other. No, sorry, we don't work like that. At least I don't. And I know Tony's the same way, and Santo. We do what we do because we can, because we have an obligation to our fellow man, and that's all it is. And that's not a debt either. When I say obligation, this is an unconditional love thing. And this one is the really hard one to get. So if you're out there trying to chase down opt carrots, here's a rule that I follow to spot the false prophets, because that's what they are. Anytime anything comes out that says, well, we're going to, if you just get on board here and opt in, we're going to give you $10 billion. Well, that's basically what they're saying. And of course, when you opt in, if you fill this thing out, they are now saying that you need to put your blood print on it. You want to deal with the devil? Go for it. And if you have done something like that, I would highly recommend that you counter your own curse by negating it. Because that is a deal with the devil, my friends. These entities like Heather, they come out of nowhere. She came out of nowhere. Her and her two trucker buddies. If you did the research, there was 3 transport companies involved. I think it was last year ago, March. And, so this thing came out of the gate. It was well set up. It's COINTELPRO. They always are. Much like the false flags. Well, the last one in Boston was just a disaster for the crisis actors. They really messed it up. But that's deliberate, right? And that's the fear. And this is why when we do talk about this tonight, and I know we will, I want you to look at it from the perspective of comedy. Not, oh my God, the Illuminati, this and that. You know what? You got to get over that. You really do, because you're not going to get anywhere if you don't. All right, so I'm going to hold off there, and then I'm going to bring Carol and MJ in for a sec, and then I want to get into a bit of walking down the yellow brick road to your Emerald City. And I'm going to see if you actually have the strength and the courage and the heart and the mind, there's the straw man, tin man, lion, to actually hold on to this. Because I'll tell you right now, if you can see this, if but one shall awaken, this game changes in the twinkling of an eye. And I know many of you listening cannot even fathom that concept. And that's okay. Right now, you weren't meant to. And that's no harm, no foul. It's not a right or wrong. I don't particularly care either way. The fact is, I love you enough to keep sharing this. And it's unconditional. You owe me nothing. And I owe you nothing. This is the gift of gifts. I was given the gift of song. Have I not shared it? Same thing. So, Carol, MJ, pop in for a sec. Let's get your voices on the air here.
Hello there, sweet person. I love you so much, Kate.
I love you too, and you know that.
I do. I feel the love that just emanates from every bit of you that comes across the wonderful airwaves. And I just tell everybody I can about you and get them on these calls. This is where we're headed, folks. And if you don't get it, we're all headed to love. Some will make it this lifetime, some won't. And by golly, Kate's doing everything she can to help us get this message, and I appreciate her so much. Thank you so much, honey.
Oh, thank you for the purpose. It has to balance out in the end, right? So the gift that I'm given from all of you is the purpose to gift this right back. So there's no exchange at all. This is neutral. This is totally neutral. And it's like all the people. I don't want to get on a rant here, but I'll tell you, all the people in my life And this is, I think, the toughest lesson I had to learn. You see, I didn't matter. Like me. I'll tell you what did matter. What I could do for them. The material aspect, the physical aspect. What could I do for them? It wasn't me. It was never me. It was the line in the song from Field of Broken Dreams. You can try to steal her gold, but she'll give it willingly. And that's what's happened with me my whole life. People have tried to steal my gold. You can have it. Willingly, you know? And, you know, people that, and I've had it happen many times, you know, people that would turn around and say, well, you know, didn't I do this to help you and that and the other? And I said, well, I didn't realize I was obligated to you because of it. So what was it a gift or was it an obligation you were giving me? You know, with me, there was never an obligation. Anyone that came to my place, it's not like I said, well, you know, you need to, I fed you, so one day you're going to have to feed me. No, I just fed you. And I gave you a roof. And this is what they stole from you, not me. I mean, it was a place for all. All right, so this is where we're going to start getting really deep into the Emerald City here tonight. I promise you, we're going there. MJ, prove me right.
Yes, sir.
Sir? I'm kidding. Go ahead. It's all right.
Yes, ma'am.
Answer.
Yeah, that was a beautiful, I guess, intro to your show. Yeah, I guess it really comes down to, with this information, is getting past you and you. You know, the little contrast that we have between the multiple parts of ourselves, or the versions of ourselves. And I think what a lot of people do have a problem with, and you've mentioned this before, Kate, is it's the ego states. They're very, very, very padded. They've been padded since we were a kid, and they just get, you know, bigger and bigger and stronger and more entrenched. And I think that is probably one of the major things that's going to keep a whole lot of people from being able to process what is pretty complex information from the dialectics that we've all kind of grown up in.
Mm-hmm. So true. You know, I had one of my epiphanies today. I was talking with Vicky, and I just looked at her and says, you know, this is my coffee buddy. Go and hang out for a couple of hours, actually an hour or so today. I looked at her and I said, you know, it's kind of funny how, given everything that this illusion has been for me, how in the hell did I wake up? I was flabbergasted when I saw the absolute perfection and mastery and the delivery and its efficacy. It just, like, it is something to behold. And when you can look at something, that trap that had you and has you so deeply ingrained in it, and when you can look at it and go, oh, it's a trap. When you can actually look at it as a trap that it was, not is, was. And the only thing that you have to do, there's only one thing that you have to do. You got to let go. And what you said, MJ, is so true. We get our egos, and ego's not a bad thing. I pick it apart only because most people don't understand what it is. It's a tool. And most people act like the tool instead of use the tool. And I mean that quite literally. And me too. Hey, there are no innocents in this game. Period. And with me, it was a matter of peeling off those layers, those pads that have been placed on us since childhood, since the Rockefeller indoctrinations of dumbing down, which they've done an extraordinary job with. You know, here, well done, well done. And they build that ego to such a degree that it's almost impenetrable. And that's why I was like amazed, like, how the hell did I wake up? And this is where we have to come to terms with it. If there's something inside of you that, you know, that you feel says something, and, you know, it's a button that gets pushed with you, and you want to come out kicking and screaming with a chainsaw, and I joke about this all the time, that's your ego. You might want to get that in check, because the only thing that's going to take care of your emotions, your stillness, emotions, no motion, is you. Now, the emotions, of course, as we are all aware, comes from the divine feminine, and they can be, if they were not kept in check, they can go out and they can create universes and destroy them willy-nilly. So we have to go from the chaos out of order and order out of chaos. You see, they only give you half the equation, you know, order out of chaos. Well, I'm sorry, let me explain what chaos really is, because that's what was in the beginning, the void. Right? And I learned this making a pot of soup one day, which was quite an epiphany. Have you ever wondered when you're making something, say you're mixing something up and you throw a handful of, say, sweet basil or oregano into the mix, and did you not notice that the more you mixed it, chaos, the more evenly it dispersed? And I guarantee you, if you kept stirring that pot long enough, every piece of basil or oregano or whatever, pepper, doesn't matter, will eventually find its perfect order in the universe. Do you not find it odd that you can taste all the spices throughout? It's not like it clumps up to one side or anything else, but only out of that chaos came the order. So they've done everything in the mirror here. So I'm really trying to get this concept across so that you can get into your shadow, confront your shadow. You are the shadow of yourself. This is the shadow realm. This is the other side of the looking glass, Alice. I dare you, I'm challenging you to suck up everything you thought you ever knew enough to nullify it, to have for the first time in your life, a white canvas, neutral view without emotion. And you'll be amazed at what you can see. You can have a stormy ocean. How much sun will reflect off it? Now think of a still pond. And you can see the complete reflection of the as above, so below. And it's perfect in its efficacy as well. It is delivering you the truth. You've got to be the pond, the stillness of the pond. Can you? Well, you better turn your TV off, and you better stop getting pissed off at family members, and you better stop getting pissed off at the system and ranting and raving and everything else. I've done my share of it. You've heard me on the air many times, guys. This is an evolution for me. And every day, every single day, my mirror has to be adjusted. And it better get a whole lot clearer, or otherwise I end up spending an evening going, you silly bitch. Someone got the better of you. Someone pushed that button. Someone did this. Someone did that. And you didn't hold it. Now I do.
You're not telling me we've seen the last of the potty mouth, are you?
Well, potty mouth is fun. I don't look at that as nasty at all. Hear ye. But good one, Tony. That's good, But again, with me, my intent will always be known whether I'm ranting or talking as I am right now. You're going to get the same intent. There will be no hate. There will be no anger. There will be no fear. There will be no greed, no lust, nothing. It will be completely neutral. And I dare you to have a look into my pond to see yourself. You're beautiful. I promise.
By the way, hello, Tony.
Oh.
Hello, darling. How are you, Carol?
I'm doing well. It's good to hear your voice.
Take it away, Tony. I'm going to answer this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You too, bub.
Hey, by the way, no, don't throw our potty mouths away. That's kind of fun sometimes. Sometimes it's a good release.
I'm testing someone's metal, dear.
I see. Mine has been tested, and it's all tempered already.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just having a bit of fun, that's all.
That's good. How's the weather in the UK, kiddo?
It's been a lovely day today, thank you. It's been
wonderful.
Really nice. Makes a change, because it's normally been really bad, but no, today's been a bit of an exception. We've had some nice sunshine to go out to today.
Oh, that's wonderful. You're going to have to come out here to the Southern California desert where I live, and we have sun every day. Love it. Love it.
I was going to say, do you seriously think they're going to let me in without letting me out again?
Oh, well, I might not let you back out, but, they'll let you in and out. But once you come here and experience this beautiful weather in California, you might not want to leave. But it's always nice to get home regardless of where you go, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I spent some time out in Arizona out there and saw a bit of the Scottsville and that sort of area. And boy, is it hot out there. Crikey. You can't go out without a crate of water.
Well, thank God for air-conditioned housing, huh?
And cars, yeah.
Well, exactly.
But, awesome.
Oh, that was a quick call in from Janet. She's on her way home, and she didn't realize the time got away from her. Oh, yeah, you're on the air. Never mind. But she'd asked me about chemtrails. They're really bad where she is right now, and what we can do to get rid of them. And I said, well, will them away. You're God. And she said, okay, well, I'll try to do that. And I said, no, don't try. Try allows failure. Are you God or not? Do or do not. Yoda said that. Be or be not. Have or have not. And I choose have with an L. Have not. I am Toto Jean-Marie. In Toto, my full care actor. Character? It's all in the words, guys. It's all in the sounds. And we're going to get you finally grasping this. You need to stop and slow down. You need to get into neutral and stop being so busy trying to get your... See, here's the thing about the tricky little bastard, the ego. That little bastard wants to just yabber on and not shut up. And I'll tell you something else. When someone else is talking to it, it's not hearing, because it's too busy thinking up the next clever thing it's going to say to make itself look really intellectual. That's why, and I've had many conversations where I've asked people, could you do me the favor? And they said, well, what's that? I said, because you can see it in the eyes, right? And I can feel it too. And I said, could you do me a favor? I said, well, what's that? And he said, we're actually having communication here. Communication is two-way, yeah? Yeah. I said, okay, well, tell you what. If I'm going to be doing talking, I'm going to respect what you're saying, because I want to hear what you have to say and resonate with. Could you do me a favor and shut down your tricky little bastard that keeps going to try to think of the next clever thing you want to tell me? So I need you in the conversation with me. Con, ver, say, shun, right? Con, with, ver, truth. It's all there. That's why they want it with. Now, con means with or for or against. That's why for those of you that are, I'll talk to my American brethren, the geographical thing. If you think the constitution has anything to do with you, I'm going to tell you, constitution actually means notwithstanding, or it means forestanding. Statute means to stand. Con means against or for. And if you want to not have any standing, start claiming it, because that's nothing to do with you. It's somebody else's idea. It's another piece of paper that has nothing to do with you. And they have you thinking that somehow an amendment matters? Are you kidding me? If you voted in the last election, voted in the last electrician, right, you gave your power away. It's time to pull that contract back. It's time to become aware of it and go, oh, because I'll tell you, everyone can talk about president this and prime minister that and all the rest of it, but I assure you, they have not the least interest in you at all. And when you give an energy like that your power, oh, they love it. Oh my God, they love it. How do you power up the darkest entities in this universe, of which that's exactly what we're dealing with? They have you convinced that this, little paradigm that we're in right now, real creation. What's the movie? In Inception. For anyone that sees that, we are a couple of layers down, guys. So we need to back up into the real reality. Reverse. Re, son of God, you are the sun or star, which is masculine and feminine, of God. You are of creation. Ver, verily, truth. Say, the Trinity, you, himself, herself, itself. And look what it comes together to make. It makes a singularity. And as soon as you can put the himself, herself, itself together, that's why I never take offense when anyone says, well, it, right? Well, thank you. I'll take the compliment. Because it means somebody actually knows who I am, And here's the other thing, too, and I brought this up the other night. The word he, I think it's hey in Hebrew, actually means she. Do you see how the words mean the equal and opposite? And when you understand that everything you were saying is working opposite to you until you change your intent, and you take that spell and you start casting it back with the opposite intent of what the words mean, and it's only your purest, positive, Emerald City heart intent, your world will change. I know mine has. And Tony, myself, Sato, and so many of you listening have been through the friggin' mill. But only by going through that mill, it's like a diamond, right? It's going to take some serious cutting to get anything beautiful out of it. And we've taken a lot of cutting. And we're just hoping that we get to that point where we are that beautiful cut diamond, just like you. Because I want you to be able to see your reflection in it. So my intent is always opposite to what ego wants. And that's why, people say, why do you do these shows? Well, it's certainly not because of any sense of, grandeur or whatever. I've got a responsibility. You see, when you wake up to a certain knowingness, and you know your puzzle piece. I can't tell you what it is. You know what it is. You've got a very special role to play, each and every one of you. And I found mine, and I'm doing mine. That's all I'm doing. And see, that's why you guys are here. This is why you're tuned in, and I mean tuned in. You guys are the most tuned in on the planet. You know why I know that? Because I made a deal with the universe 3 years ago that said, only send me those that will get what I'm saying, where I can learn from them equally in resonance. Because there's no point walking into the center of a Walmart trying to have a discussion like this with anyone looking for their, whatever, right? They get caught up in the creature comforts. I'd love to have my own bed back, and I'd love to have my own home where my family, I'd love to have my family, everyone gathered around me. I'd love to have all these things that were taken. But again, it's like I said about ownership. Everything was registered, but now the shoe is on the other foot, and Katie's kicking. I got my shit stomping boots on, and this mirror is exposed, and we're gonna have some fun tonight with that. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up because I could go on all night, and I want Carol and MJ and Tony and everyone kicking in here.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to sort of ask MJ if you could. Hi, mate. Sorry, we haven't had the opportunity yet, but hello.
Hey, Tony. Nice to meet you.
That's cool. I wanted to ask you, I wonder if you could give us a little bit of information about, number one, who you are, number two, what it is that you do, and number three, maybe a little bit of background, yeah?
Who I am? Well, I'm not the legal fiction, but I use it. I use it well. I'm one of those people that stays kind of within the system, and it seems to... I can kind of mold it to the way I need it to work for me, for now. So I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia. I've been studying things of this nature for way too long, and listening to Kate over the last few months, she seems to be the only one that can really actually thread the needle, and actually write something that can really pull people in, because I'm seeing pathologies of some of your listeners and watching them get it over a few days kind of thing that I've never seen before. So I come from a background of, from a long time ago, club promotions, also sales. So I've always paid attention to people's tells, just the way people react to things, what their triggers are. I also dabbled in hypnotism when I was in my early 20s, learned a lot about that, and left that behind because I understood really what it was. And, I had a couple of questions, though, or just some comments on some of the things that Kate was talking about. One of the things was that when you were talking about some of our politicians and that, I realized I don't even know who the premier of my province is. It's no concern of mine. I don't really pay much attention to any, much of anything, because it all kind of comes to you anyways. It's just I can listen to this show and I'll get little bits and pieces of what I need, but I pay very, very little attention to the media anymore. It's already kind of been pre-written. I've studied it for so long, basically in the last decade, that you kind of know what's coming anyways, right? It's a strategy of tension, right, which is to kind of keep us off kilter so that we can't get things like what Kate's trying to tell us.
Yep.
Right, so... any other questions? I might have got lost there. Was there something you wanted to ask me about, Tony?
No, I was just basically trying to help the listener understand a little bit about you and what you're about, what you do, and, a bit of information, really. Who is MJ? And,
I watch different groups. I watch different groups and that are moving in a very similar direction that you guys are. And you're all completely separate. And I don't think you're even aware of each other. But your talking points are just syncing up, month after month after month. It's just, I'm hearing the same things exactly out of you guys. I mean, on a spiritual level, to a physical level, on the intent. It's just, you see, I learned a lot of this stuff from people that I'm very thankful for. Kate just knows this stuff, right? There's a lot of stuff that I just knew, but it's valuable information, and I hope people can really just allow themselves to take it in. And I've been kind of trained in a few things. Just there's certain words, some key words that I've been beginning to try and just kind of ease out of my repertoire or my vocabulary. Like words like need. It's just like I don't personally need anything. To be honest, and the way that it's been put to me by someone that was very wise, just you need bread. In other words, you make it. You need an idea into action, but you don't need anything. You may require things, you may desire things, but you don't really need anything. Does that make any sense?
Totally.
Yep.
And look at the word need, K-N-E-E-D, versus the K-N-E-A-D,
Exactly.
or N-E-E-D. Do you see the power of the sound? They have you saying things you don't even know what you're saying. You think well, again, I go back to assumption and presumption, and that's the only way we've been kept in slavery here, because the assumption and presumption always was what those that wish to control us is, not you. And the sigils were designed in such a way that you were handed you when you were enslaving. And this is the hardest thing for people to grasp. You did it to yourself. I did it to myself. Oh, my bad. Better stop doing that. What an idiot. Moving on. And that's the mirror I use. I've been through a lot of things in my life, and I spent a good portion of my time driving back here today, getting into a perfect state of forgiveness of me, no one else. I don't have to forgive anyone, because if I have to forgive someone, I have to judge them, and I can't do that. I'd just be judging myself anyway. We are the one. And so how am I to turn around and I won't step on free will choice either. If someone chooses to play this game, pay attention, Ian. This is what I mean by free will choice. If you choose to be, maintained in this part of the game in a completely predetermined outcome, which is we go home, guys. There's no question. It's not a matter of if. It's just a matter of when, in which timeline, in which, what's the word I'm looking for? Dimension. We are infinite dimensions. Universe is infinite. We are in the mind, the total mind spirit of Creator. Because if there is but one, and there is, who else can you be? And it's so very difficult to get there. But here's the joy of free will choice. The free will choice aspect comes out of being a separate consciousness from consciousness, the illusion of, right? It's the illusion of infinity and the infinity of illusion here. And when you understand that very simple concept, it's a tough one though. I mean, it's very simple to say, but it's very, very difficult to get. When you understand that we are all part and parcel of the same, yet our free will choice of being an individualized little spark of the all spark, now we can have a game. It sure beats being the one and lonely. I mean, infinity, this is why, for me, the only word, the sound, in the beginning there was the word, the only word that ever comes to mind with me, and it's the only one that makes sense. You find yourself suddenly aware, consciousness, in the void. And this is infinite. And you're by yourself, because we are the one. And the only question I would ask is why? And then we create all these beautiful, scenarios. I mean, this is a pretty cool game here in terms of the physical. Look what we've been able to do. We've been able to materialize things out of waveform, energy, and everything else into things that feel real and things that we can experience. And here's the thing, we can fall in love with ourselves, i.e. through another perspective. A twin flame, if you will, whatever the case may be. That's why the most important thing, and this is still a lesson I'm working on, is to find that self-love. That it's okay to love you. Absolutely, it's okay. And I got to tell you, I spent a lifetime wrestling with that. You know, I remember talking to Sue one day, and she had just told her boss about me, you know, the real me. And the only thing that the boss said to her was, "Wow, that must be a very interesting life." You know, and I thought about that today, and I thought, well, yeah, interesting's probably a word one of the words I'd use. There's a whole other, plethora of words that I would tie into that, but it certainly has been an experience. And the only thing I'm trying to bring to the table here anymore is how difficult it has been for me to find that self-love, as I'm sure it is for you. And it only makes sense, because that one consciousness that we are, not a hive mind. That's what they try to indoctrinate here. We're not bored. We're not transhuman. Okay. Now I said this last night. You got the Dalai Lama, endorsing this 2045 website. This Russian guy that's, trying to transfer consciousness into a robot for immortality. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, there's a false prophet. Hey, Dalai Lama, at what point did you miss out the whole idea that ye are gods and spirituality thing? Did you miss that? Seriously, or you endorse that nonsense?
I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, the false prophets are everywhere, guys. Everywhere. Trust no one. Don't even trust me. Trust yourself. It's the only one you can trust. Find what resonates. Stop being deluded. Stop chasing your pipe dreams and carrots like ops and all the rest of it. And I've been pretty nasty about that. And I do know for a fact, as far as I can tell, in everywhere I've looked, I am the first individual to come out on the air and call it for what it is. Bullshit. Right? And I know there's a lot of other people that resonated that. The only difference with me is I just got loud on the air about it. I watched so many beautiful entities within the awakening, and I guarantee you, the more we awaken, like the hippies, the more they want to make us into yuppies, right? And they're gonna wave these carrots at you. They're gonna give you, infinite wealth, and stop. You are the infinite wealth. What the hell do you need somebody else to give you something outside of yourself to worship? The only God you need to know is looking you right back in the mirror. I dare you to know thyself. You are the most beautiful essence, the God essence, in this universe, if you could but see it. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm holding this mirror up for you guys, and stare in this. Look how beautiful you are. Can you dare to see it? I mean, it took me a lifetime. And even now, I look in the mirror and I go, well, okay, well, it's getting closer to, how I visualize me. Every day. Mind over matter. Every day. Baby steps. And all I've learned to do in the process is learn how to breathe. And not be so hard on myself. There's no point beating up consciousness. Because if I'm beating up myself, I'm beating everybody else up, and vice versa. And there's a lot of things that I've had to come to terms with every day. It's like even confronting my 3 puppies over at Sue's today. I couldn't hold them. I could look through them at the glass, but I knew the unconditional love. And I felt it. And they felt it from me too. I spent a little bit of time with them. And, I'll tell you, the last time I was there, wasn't that long ago, but it's a whole world of difference now, because there's a whole lot more knowing now. And there is no separation. It doesn't matter if I'm, an hour and a half away, or just through a little pane of glass. Nothing will stop that love. I have no barriers on it, and I'm trying to get you guys to lift your veils. A veil is something that will cover your eyes, and it's also a meadow that you will look across. Which one are you using? I chose the meadow. That's all. And I'm going to go back through my archives in my other computer, because I've lost count of the essays, and I'm going to start posting them, for people to have a look at. As soon as I get this ebook together, I've got to talk to Swan actually to get an update on that. Worst case scenario, I've got all the information I need put together, and I'll just release it through Facebook. I don't care, because I'm not interested in money. I'm not, because here's the thing: if I can solve the if but one that shall awaken. It's not me, I'm already awake. It's got to be someone else. Because an idea is only powerful if it has agreement. And it has to be that beautiful resonance. I'm going to go back to an experiment just to show you the power of resonance. It was back in the late 1800s. There were two guys decided, I can't remember the guy's name. Names are relevant. The purpose is the only thing relevant here. And what he wanted to do was prove that resonance will travel through the vacuum of space. Where sound will not, resonance will. And that's what he wanted to prove, right or wrong. And what he did was he took two bells that were tuned perfectly together in A, 432 I bet, not 440, that mind program tuning, heart programming, baby, 432, pitch of A. And I've done this for a while. Thank you guys for the ones that have mentioned it to me. Yeah, I've been doing it for a while. Beautiful. You're awake. You know, what he did was, he had an assistant the other side of the cathedral, and it was silent. And what he did was, when he hit the bell, and the sound traveled, of course, in the cathedral like crazy, and the assistant noted that the bell indeed started to vibrate and resonate sound as well. And then what he did was he put that same bell inside a vacuum canister. He removed all the air and struck the bell again at his end of the cathedral. And guess what happened? Where the sound couldn't travel, the resonance did, and the bell vibrated. That's you on the telephone calling me on the telephone, where I pick up the phone just as you've already called and hasn't even rang in my... Be tuned to 432 and I will hear you, I promise you. You know, it's like last night, prime example. This is where we come in with you, MJ, and, you know, we were having this wonderful discussion. Of course, here's Katie Tough Love, right? I'm not buying the bullshit anymore. I'm not buying the fear porn. I'm not buying negative energy. You either transmute it yourself, or I'll kick the shit out of you to transmute it for you, I promise. You know, you want to talk with me, I'm going to make you beautiful. Promise. And I got to say, you know, we were into the recording for 50 minutes. I had maybe 8 to 10 minutes left, tops. And MJ had tagged me, and I thought, oh, MJ wants in. And there was only a few minutes left. So I brought MJ into the call, and without missing a beat, and MJ didn't hear a word of that recording, because you have to be on the board to hear it. And the next thing you know, if you listen to the show last night, you will swear that MJ was in the whole call, the whole time. Because he came in with a perfect, like, everything relevant to what we were just talking about, and had no idea. That's resonance. That's when someone is open. And this is why MJ's here tonight. Other reasons too, but we had a great chat afterwards. Thank you so much, my friend. But what MJ proved to me last night was perfect resonance. And I got the visuals of the bells later. So, you know, thanks for proving resonance, MJ. And so many of you out there. It's true. You know, change your mind, change your universe. Will you dare to resonate with someone else, or are you going to be too busy dealing off, you know, system did this to me and I'm desperate and that? It did it to me too. No, I just chose to let it go. And the cards fall where they may, and this house of cards is coming down. They built their house upon the sand. Oh, woe to ye lawyers, for ye have corrupted the truth. And here's the thing. They have the choice. There's the free will choice, Ian. You paying attention? Good. Free will choice. They can choose to continue on in this paradigm, or choose to move on to a different one. And we'll all know, as part of that all source, the little sparks, and we'll know when our time is up, as far as, okay, I've had enough of this ride, it's time to get off. And I've had enough. It's time to move up. But be mindful, and we're going to get into the UFOs here a little bit too, but be mindful, because when entities suddenly and magically start appearing, they will be the biggest deceivers of all. They will be the ones that are feigning light beings. They'll be the ones that are, oh, beautiful entities, and that they are the greatest deceivers of all, you see, because if you were looking at something else to be the light, you've cast yourself in your own shadow. You are the light. Seek the dark. Because only there in that void will you create and will you shine. Fact. Dare to become the match in the blacked out gymnasium and see your way out. It only takes one match to do that. Anyway, mini rant over.
Absolutely. Any thoughts on that, MJ?
Perfect words.
I was feeling you the whole time, MJ. Honest to God, I was. Honest to me. Oh, my me. It's my favorite Bill Hicks. Oh, my me. Look what I've done down there, you know. Start taking responsibility for this place, guys, instead of blaming everything outside of you. You're here. You chose to be here.
Come into your power.
Bingo. Ye are gods. What part of that little statement are you not getting yet? Do not try. You'll fail because you've given yourself a reason and an option. I give myself no options.
Don't try. No.
Bingo. Look at you. I'm glad I'm not in the bingo hall with you. You'd be cleaning me up here. You know. But anyway, you guys, your thoughts on that, and please. And I'm gonna bring Moose in, and we're gonna hammer away at the comedy called Boston for a bit, just for fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, before we get onto the Boston bit, Carol.
Oh, we caught her off guard again, I'm sure. Carol, hello. There she is.
I'm here, dear. I'm sorry.
That's okay, hon. It's all good.
So, where are you?
Oh, we're just asking, your thoughts on the mini rant, unless you were busy doing something.
Well, I love your rants, and I'm sorry I missed the last part of it here. So.
No, it's okay. No, that's the joy of the archives, you know. Oh, and by the way, I have to bring this up because it was Randy, I believe. Yeah, it was Randy that tagged me on Facebook. Google, what you were talking about with Google. Google had nothing to do with that, and it's funny because I got hit with this. So, wow, talk about resonance. It's an old scam, and the thing is, with me, like Google and none of these companies will ever ask for your password ever. That's yours. And if you ever get an email where someone asks for your password and what have you, what they do then is they go in with your password and change it, and then they want to charge you, and that's a standard fee, by the way. I went back through some notes, $80 to reinstate your account.
Well, here's the thing. When I called this 877 number in Northern California, it was the number that Walmart gave me as the Google people to call to get this straightened out, and it was my calling them where they asked for $79 to fix it.
Yeah, well, that's the scam.
Well, it came right out of Google.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
Oh,
Carol,
yes, it did.
Carol,
no, because Walmart listened
Carol,
to me.
Hang on. I need you to hear this. Okay? It's an old scam. I went through my notes. Yes, and they make it look great. They make it look so legit that you have no other choice but if you get caught in it, and many people have. And this is what you need to do is this. You need to go back to Google to set up a new account. Carry on. It's got nothing to do with Google. I promise you that.
Well, but I called Google. I called them.
You called what you thought was Google.
No. Walmart, my service provider that I pay every month, they gave me the Google headquarters phone number. And I called that number that Walmart, where I pay my bill, they gave me that number.
Just change your account. End of story.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sweetheart.
No, I just wanted to share that with you. And that's to be mindful for everybody else out there. If you get an email, anyone asks for your password.
No, they didn't ask for my password. All they said was somebody tried to break into my account, and would I please change my password? And I have somebody in my phone family the same thing happened to. She didn't change her password, and she's still getting screwed around, but it's finally worked out okay.
It's easy to solve. Set up another Hotmail account or Live, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Let go of the old one. Don't worry about it. Those emails.
Well, the thing is that Google has total control of my smartphone. I mean, Google is everywhere. Everything is Google-oriented.
Absolutely. And, again, I'll go back to my old expression. Use the tools. Don't let them make you into one. So, hey, fine. It's like people talk about Facebook and all the rest of it. I use that to dismember the system. I use this own. There it is. That's judo. Use your opponent's strength against them.
Well, I've got to find somebody that knows how to walk me through it because I'm technically dead as far as brain power with the technicians. I'm sorry, honey.
All you got to do is just go and set up a new account.
I don't know how to do that. I do not know how to do that. And that's where I'm going to need some help. But I really appreciate you trying to help this old lady.
No worries, hon. We'll get you sorted. Sorted.
All right. Anyway, I know you're talking about staying in the system and not staying in the system. And I liked what MJ had to say about he's working it to his advantage. I have to stay in the system also for right now. And
no, hang on. Look. What you just said. By doing that, you just consented to it. I'm going to show you how to change your intent on that.
My intent is good, and I've dropped out of a lot of it, okay?
No, I realize that. All you need is this. I mean, this is not complicated. I really need to get to your heart on this one. And this is for everyone, all right? The system is there. What you need to change is like... MJ is a prime example. Same with Santo. And I talked to Tony and Santo about this. If they have to travel, you know who you are. And once you know who you are, now the maxims apply. Those who make the laws must obey them. This is a spiritual thing, guys. This is not, well, the system, whatever. No. This is beyond this meat stick reality. This is where we change the universe. You don't change it by doing it physically. Sorry, you will never do that. Because this is the shadow. What you need to do is change it from within. Once your intent of how you use it and what it's for, no one can be expected to do the impossible. But one must also be wary of the pitfall and the trap of getting caught up in it. I'm not saying you would, Carol. I always speak third party. I hope people realize that. I've never directed at anyone unless I say your name. The thing is, once you change your intent, in the case with Santo, he was very, about getting a passport, and he didn't want to join. He said, no. You're standing in honor, my friend. No one can be expected to do the impossible. And you have a job to do, and nothing gets in the way. Get there, make the world-smashing documentary, and get home. And you travel in full honor. Otherwise, and I tell everyone this is, and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm holding that piece anyway. That's my piece of the puzzle. So stop trying to hog it, you guys. Get on with your lives. Change your intent.
Can I just interject here? Because, I've got to be honest, Kate, a couple of days ago I was even struggling with that, and then it finally dawned on me. It was like, oh my God, now I get it. It's, as you've said many times before, it's once the fraud has been uncovered, it's then null and void, especially if you write to the people that committed the fraud in the first place. Tell them that you know they've committed the fraud, and thereby the wrong has been uncovered. Therefore, everything that's gone on from that fraud is also null and void, and therefore it's not your problem anymore. It's theirs.
That's exactly it. And this one's for Jerry. I'm not sure if he's tuned in. He's probably tuned in to Peter right now. Peter's playing with his chains. No harm, no foul. I know that. Bonds, right? The name is mine. No, it's not. Asshole. And I said that was love. I love Peter. Derail myself on these thoughts, but what you were saying there, Tony, is exactly right. I write Jerry, that was it. I write ab initio ad infinitum, nunc pro tunc, praeterea, which is this. Ab initio, since the beginning, ad infinitum, until infinity. Nunc pro tunc, now for then, praeterea, hereafter. And I cast the spell, praeterea. My intent must be pure. And when your intent is what Tony just said there, when it clicks with you, it's a beautiful moment. And here's the joy of this. I'm already standing with that piece of the puzzle, and I'm holding on to it for dear life until my last breath. I need just one to awaken. In the twinkling of an eye, this universe changes, and your free will choice, that which you choose, which game you want, that's when that comes into reality, and not before it. And I will patiently do this night after night, after night after night, until I get that 432 hertz pitched A bell that is stuck in a vacuum somewhere in this universe to resonate. And when that bell sounds, for whom the bell tolls, that's who I'm looking for. the only one I'm after.
Well, I think everyone on your call, honey, is whom you're looking for. But the thing is, we don't have the depth of understanding that you and Tony have about the sovereignty. The sovereignty is what it's all about, that we are our own person. And yes, we have been given away by our parents to the powers that be at this point. But everywhere I can, I have stayed out of the fray.
Oh, I realize that.
But the fact that I have to live on whatever I get from the state at this point until,
in absolute honor. Absolutely.
And I have to play that part of the game to survive. If I don't survive, I'm of no help to anybody else. And I've gone through an awful lot to be here to help other people through it. But I'm not.
Carol, I'm going to try again. I'm going to try again.
How frustrating for you.
This is difficult.
Sorry.
It's difficult to get, right? But it's so simple once you get it. I'm
going to try again. Carol, you know who you are.
Yes, I do.
You don't have to do a damn thing.
I've heard you say that.
You don't have to prove a damn thing to anybody. You're God. I know that. I don't think it. I don't believe it. I know it. Mm-hmm. Okay? So you don't need to defend yourself, God. You don't need to state your case, God. You are. No one can be expected to do the impossible. Now, you stand in honor. Do what you need to do. If you need to use state ID or whatever just to keep going and survive and everything else, by all means. You see, because what I've done with obfuscating all of it, I mean all of it, you don't have to. Savvy? It's already done. Only one has to do it. You're the 100th monkey with your piece. I'm the 100th monkey with mine. No one has to do what I've done, but I know what I've done had to be done, and I have to.
Tony, are you there?
Oh yeah,
I'm here.
Oh, there's Kate. Okay, you got knocked off for a minute, honey.
Okay. Oh, MJ, I think we just got hammered.
Right.
No, you're here.
Oh, okay. No, I just heard a bleep, so I just want to make sure MJ didn't get knocked off here. One sec.
Okay.
Of course, this is a critical piece of the puzzle because.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anytime I do that, hold that thought, right? Okay. Anytime Skype. My Skype's jamming up here. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a problem. There's a problem with the call. All right. Here we go. I stood facing Sue, and tears were. There we go. Yeah.
My goodness, sounds like a machine gun.
Yeah, that's it. I'm going to tag MJ and see if I can get him to call in direct. Just give me a second here, boys and girls. Paste.
Yeah. Let me just comment on something you said there, because between getting knocked off, etc. If you fall for the fraud initially, which we all did, right? And if you actually are aware that it was in fraud, then the etheric nature of that fraud itself and the spell that was cast over you to make you think it wasn't fraud, well, none of us thought it was fraud initially, but once you've realized the fact that it is, then you can use, on our part, myself and Kate, we wrote to the Attorney General and made it clear that we understood that it was fraud. But now all you've got to do is to understand that you understand that it is fraud, and then the spell is broken for you. You don't necessarily have to do what we did.
You don't have to do a damn thing.
Well, honey, I've known it's fraud for many, many years. In fact, when I had that wonderful white knight on our...
Carol, I need you to hear this.
I heard it.
No,
I'm trying to tell you, I know it's fraud. No doubt about it.
Okay.
We have never been free. We have never been free, at least in this country and many, many thousands of years back. This is a total, it's a long story, but it's all fraud against us. No doubt about it.
And it's also ignorance on our part, so it's a two-way street.
Right.
I am trying to acknowledge you, and you won't let me.
Well, I think I'm letting you. I think I'm on the same page with you. I just don't think you understand that I am. But go ahead.
I'll be honest, hon. I'll know when you are. I'll feel you, and I'm still not feeling it yet. I feel you. Don't get me wrong, but is what Tony has said, and it is a serious aha moment. You, Carol, now stand in honor, irrelevant of what happened. That does not matter. What needs to happen is you need, for me, getting into the present now moment is what made the difference to me. This is, again, Tony, here's the thing, I get to talk to Tony all the time, and, hey, he's dealt with a lot of shit with me. And I think now you kind of get why I was so crazy passionate about it, because it's saying the same thing over. And Carol, you've got and everyone listening, everyone, the whole family, right? You guys each have your own very specific piece of the puzzle. And I'm going to go back to it. You don't have to do what we do. What you're doing with your call-in shows, Carol, perfect. And you've been doing it for a long time. You've walked through fire to get where you are. That I know. The thing I'm trying to dispel here, and I can still feel it, is, and please take this in the light I'm sharing it, there's no need anymore for self-judgment on this. There's no need for guilt. There's no need for justifying. There's no need for defense. There's no need for anything. You got it. You're there. Welcome home. And leave it there.
I don't know where you're coming up with my guilt and my self-judgment on this, because I've been free of this for a long time. And here's the problem, guys. The call that I host, we have a lot of people still in the little tiny box that they're just coming out of that box. They're just sticking their toe in the water, and I have to, by the time people get to your call, they're almost home, for God's sake. But I'm dealing with people, dear one, that are so far advanced from me, and then there's people that are just sticking their toe out of the water. So I'm kind of caught in a middle, but I do know I'm sovereign. I do know I'm free. I do know about the fraud that's been perpetrated on us. Go ahead.
Can I acknowledge you again?
No, you don't have to, but you can.
No, I'm going to.
Okay.
Because look what happened. When did you show up? About a month ago?
About that.
And look what you did. Look what your piece of the puzzle is, Chiron. Pulling people from the sticks and bringing them home. I believe they call that mediator.
Mediator or meat eater?
No, mediator.
I'm just pulling your leg, Kate.
Oh, I hear you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You are that balance, that most beautiful go-between, huh? This is what I'm trying to acknowledge with you.
Well, I understand that's my part. My identity was cast to me by my Creator a long time ago. I pull people together. I'm an organizer. I pull people together. I start things. You have no idea what my background is, and then when I get it going, I walk away from it and let the people have it. There's no ego involved in it. Yeah, I still have an ego every now and then. I get pissed off at people that run all over everybody and hurt people, but that's not who I am. I just, I'm here to do a job, and that's it. And I'm not fighting the system anymore.
Well, I'm just trying to acknowledge the job you're doing, hon.
I know you are, sweetheart, and thank you very much. And you're so far advanced from anyone else I know in this whole scheme of things. You're going to run into us. I don't feel I'm a kindergartner anymore. I feel like I'm at least junior high and possibly high school.
Oh, you're way beyond that, hon.
But anyway, I know that communicating your position to those of us that are not there has to be the most frustrating thing in the world, because you've got it and you want to make sure other people get it, and they're not actually mentally there or spiritually there or whatever. But I've never heard you say anything that I've disagreed with you on.
Well, here's a concept for you. Are you familiar with the term triage?
Yes,
What's
a little bit.
Okay,
assessing the need.
Absolutely. And I have to share the power of that alone is the ultimate of discernment. I know what your piece of the puzzle is, and you're working it to the nine.
You went away, sweetheart.
Doing, sweetness, because
You went away, honey. Everything was blocked out.
Ah, what are the odds?
What are the odds? Imagine that.
You know who you are. You
yeah,
have
I do.
Incredible level of discernment. Your triage, hon.
Mm-hmm.
We're all working the emergency room right now. You know, and no one is more special or more awake or whatever than the other.
That's right. We're all important. I mean, every person on this planet is as important as the other person. And our position as people, as way showers, if you will, we way showers are at different levels also, just like people in their evolutionary path. We're here to, like you say, assess the need and help. And that's what I've done for many, 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 many years, long before I ever got involved in this new thought process, you know. And so I just don't want to...
Hang on, guys. Okay, sorry, Skype froze.
Wow. It sounds like we're in Afghanistan or somewhere.
Yeah, that's when you know you've got a powerhouse on the show, and that's what MJ is.
Wow.
Well,
let's let MJ talk, because you've done your gamut with me. Oh, he's not on?
I tried to bring him in. That's what that is. So.
Oh. He can't call in on his own?
So, yeah, we're having some fun here. Oh, is that my Skype? Oh, my Skype's acting up here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, he's being blocked on his side. Yeah, no shit.
What a shame. He can't call in on a regular phone?
Can you landline it? I'll just give him the number here, 661-467-2401. We'll keep trying otherwise. Go figure, right? I classify MJ as a watcher.
By the way, those beautiful birds I hear in the background when you're on the air, are those cardinals? Do you have the red cardinals up in your area?
Yeah. You can tell the cardinals. They have a nice upfront chirp, and then it's a ping, 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 like sounds like a lightsaber. You know.
I love the cardinals. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't have them out here in California.
Hey, Carol.
Hi, Tony.
Just while Kate's got knocked off before she comes back on, whereabouts are you based?
I'm in the high desert above Palm Springs, California. If you know where Palm Springs is, they're low desert. We're 2,500 foot above them on the northeast side of the Joshua Tree National Park. Okay,
all right, that's fine. A good friend of mine has just asked. And hi to my good friend. He knows who he is.
Well, feel free to give my number out to anybody that would like to contact me. I can't return calls. I can return calls to Canada, but not to the UK or any place else. I'm good in US and Canada.
There's a good international free calling service available as well. I actually gave it to Kate, and I'll get it. Well, Kate's got it. She can forward it to you.
Thank you very much. How kind of you.
No, you're more than welcome. I'm saying it's a free service that's out there. If I can point you in the direction or something, then all well and good.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm not sure if MJ is going to call in via landline. I'm still waiting for word back through Skype. But MJ, if you're tuned in, if you can put hit 1. If you are calling in, I'm just not familiar with the area code of where you might be. So I just wanted to get that out there. Open up the Skype here. Just juggling all over the place here. Yeah, that's happened to us quite a few times. The popcorn, as I call it, popcorn machine gun fire. And you always know it's done because of the information that is getting revealed. So I'll bring Moose in, and I'm going to be real blunt here, guys. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this fear porn, and I'll tell you, it better be done in the right light, or I will be muting phones. I promise. I'm a bitch, remember? Tough love. I have no more time for it. I really don't. So anyway, I think we got 6:04 sounds about right. MJ, we gotcha?
Yeah, I think that's me.
That's you. Okay. That only happens to people that call in, or me on occasion, but people that call in that actually are extremely, extremely dangerous to the status quo, as it were. So.
Yeah, I understand how I work into the timeline, or how I can work into the timeline. Yes, I know. I am very dangerous.
Yes, you are.
I choose not to be.
Well, again,
I'm not really trying to be.
No, you don't have to, because you are. You don't have to try to be dangerous when you are dangerous to the paradigm here. So actually, if you want to cover a little bit of things, as I just said to everybody, I don't know if you caught it or not, but I see you as a watcher.
That's what I've been told, and I like to watch.
Yes, neutral
Even
observer.
when I'm listening, I'm watching.
Exactly. So I'm going to open up Moose's line here, but I would really like you to expand a bit more about you and some of the experiences you've had.
Oh, experiences that I've had. I've lost time. Kind of collaborated lost time, where I disappeared for 24 hours in a government helicopter. Showed up at a very well-known hospital that is known for messing around with all sorts of interesting stuff from way back in the 50s, 60s. And, yeah, I've kind of known that there's been people kind of watching my progress for quite some time, my whole life, to be honest with you, especially from my adolescence on, for sure. There's friends that were always with me. I even had a few situations where both me and a friend both got tagged one night with an earlobe kind of thing, and we both got it the same night. We fell asleep, don't know how we fell asleep, and woke up, and the police were showing up asking us questions about the crazy lights that all the neighbors had seen, and we didn't see anything, and we both noticed later on, within 24 hours, that we both had these mini kind of lumps in our earlobes that were like in the cartilage that we couldn't get out. And then I didn't really think that much of it. We thought it was kind of strange, but then it was probably a few years later, I was talking to a friend of a friend, and they said, the strangest thing happened. They were talking about aliens, and they were just about to say it, and I stopped them, and I said, don't say another word. Your earlobe, a little tiny kind of like a mini pellet that just kind of goes in there, and no matter how you try and get at it, it seems to be able to like move away on its own. He's just like, yep, that's it. So I don't know what that means. It doesn't really, it doesn't freak me out. They really can't do anything to me. It's just, if they wanted to, they would have. So.
There's the magic. I can hear Tony chomping.
So when I talk about the stuff, like I have no fear of anything that they can do, because one, it's just I died in a helicopter a couple of times, so I actually know what death feels like, or what transitioning feels like. So it's like it can't really scare me, because it's actually kind of a nice place, the whole transitioning thing. But this world's beautiful too, So
yeah, isn't it amazing? I was going to say, isn't it amazing how much fear they put in that whole transitioning thing, and of course all the rituals that go around it, where everyone stands around the cocoon and misses the butterfly, Oh,
yeah, exactly. It's just, they romanticize death, and there's all sorts of, it's perception management. That's what the whole game is. It's about managing what we think about everything around us, and basically separating us from what is our power. That's what it's always been, I think.
Agreed. I totally agree. I'm waiting for Tony to jump in on the implant.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, which bit? The missing time, the UFOs, the implants, which bit, John?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Details, just basically we were hanging out, basically kind of parked driver's side to driver's side in cars up in a very undeveloped area, and we both just fell asleep in our cars, and we didn't even know. We couldn't even remember why. We just blacked out, and then we woke up. I actually just woke up out of nowhere and just jumped up, started my car, and started rolling away. And then all of a sudden, there's just like 6 police cars all coming towards us, and they were talking about lights. Like, they weren't concerned with us. They were saying these neighbors were talking about these massive, crazy lights that were lighting up this whole little kind of mini, kind of gully valley area. And yeah, that's when we both noticed that something had been put in our ears. Yeah, that was one thing. And I think eventually it came out, and then I could sort of got it another 5 years later. It ended up in there again. It was the strangest thing. But I've heard about them before from other people. So,
well, one of the guys we're in touch with is Lars Duggan, and he actually scans documents and removes registers frequencies coming out of these implants, and has come across all the same sort of stuff that you've already mentioned, including when they're trying to remove these things and they're moving away.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
There's some people they want to come and I guess once they know what you know, right? If you get it, then I guess it might serve them well to come retrieve it. Right?
Well,
I guess.
this is the thing, because what Kate's teaching is the very thing they don't want you to know. Because if you did know, then nothing would affect you. And I mean nothing. Radiation, oh boy, there's so much to all this. But if you can get it on the etheric level, it changes the whole game. You end up, they did a film about it, it's called The Matrix. Let's leave the rest of that to the imagination.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth, And by the way, a quick shout out for Michael Moose. I had your mic unmuted, and I need you to mute on your end if you got people coming in and you're talking, because it goes on the air. So I'm just going to unmute your mic again. I just wanted to let you know that, because I had to mute it out while you were talking with someone. So I'm going to bring you back in. So don't take it personal. Okay, click, click, click. And then we got about a half hour left here on the air, but I'm going to roll past it because I do want to touch on the Wizard of Oz and the Emerald City, because that's my favorite analogy. Are you there, Michael?
Yes.
Don't sound so excited. Don't sound so excited.
I didn't know if you were talking to me or not. You usually refer to me as Moose.
Yeah, Moose. Michael, whatever. What do you prefer?
Either or, whatever you prefer to call me.
Okay.
How you doing?
Good. We got Tony here tonight, so maybe you guys can spend a few minutes talking about the debacle known as the Boston Marathon pipe or pressure cookers of all things, guys involved.
Yeah.
It's flag. Yeah, it's false flag. Well, we know that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no doubt about it. But the fair porn, it's definitely something in that category, of course. And that's why, they have this whole thing called Boston Strong. I don't know if it's getting around, but it's here. It's in the States, and it's kind of like the thing for the money that's going to be donated to the families, and the thing they're hyping it up, this Boston Strong thing, Boston Strong. And I started this thing called Boston Wrong. Now, a lot of people are taking it the wrong way, and I've gotten a lot of people locally taking it almost as an insult until they figure out what it is that I'm trying to do. And what I'm trying to do is almost try to smear this before it turns into fair porn, any worse than it already has. Because if we know anything about false flags, we know it unfolds into something much, much bigger. We know there's a much bigger plan behind it.
Yeah, once they capture the energy and the attention of individuals, that's when they flip it around. Give you a reference. It was the first time I had a chance to watch George W. Like in the entirety of the clip of him in the classroom and the actual satanic ritual that was performed. And lo and behold, and pay attention, guys, this is critical. It was a black teacher and all black students. And there's a very, very, very particular reason why. Okay? There's a reason why certain people on this planet were turned into slaves. Those that have been the most enslaved, and this is one of the things too, I mean, the Irish, in general to the English, were always slave fodder. And then we have the slave trade as we all know it. And of course, what that became. So isn't it funny? Why would they want to enslave a people? Well, because that particular people is the most dangerous walking. They're the ones, and here's how we turn the mirror on them, guys. Every time they want to put...
You still there? I can actually fill in on this bit. If we've lost Kate.
Oh, I'm here. Go ahead.
Well, do you want to carry on, or do you want me to go ahead?
No, you go ahead. This is I've made my point, and I just need it to resonate with people. I need them to start understanding the mirror.
Okay. Well, basically, cutting a long story short, the last man that walked this earth that had his DNA activated because he was privy to certain royal secrets and Egyptian secrets, or pharaohs and various other things, was the guy that's been held up as Jesus Christ, if you like. Now, the things that he could do were very real, but he was basically converted into a religious, shall we say, patsy, as in somebody that could be held up and held accountable and pointed at, and it was twisted. The whole religious thing was twisted. However,
and Tony, where did this happen, and what color was the individual?
That's what I'm just getting to.
Mm-hmm.
He was he was a black guy, and his information that he received allowed him to reactivate a load of his DNA. Now, in case anybody's noticed, we've all got our DNA turned off. There's lots of different scientists out there talking about junk DNA. Well, his bloodline was Magi, as in Magi nation, or a nation of Magi. Magi could be looked at as a magistrate as well, which is where they took the word from, or stole the word from. And this is also, and I can make it bloody obvious for you if I explain to you. The Sphinx, when you look at a picture of the Sphinx, you'll see that the Sphinx has got no nose. Now the question, this is a Templar piece of information, but what actually happened is when Napoleon went to Egypt and spent a night in the pyramids, one of the things that he experienced was himself. The pyramid reflected his own inner self to him. He ran out of that place screaming. The following day, he ordered his army to turn the cannons of the Napoleonic army on the nose of the Sphinx, for the simple reason the nose of the Sphinx was that of Jesus Christ, or the man that we're talking about, and that nose was African, or African-looking. And that's some very deep esoteric information that's been hidden in Knights Templar degrees of information for a long, long time. There's a lot more, but that's a bit of a taster. So yeah. Christ was black.
And yes, and for the another esoteric fact, what we're dealing with the African people is skin that has incredible amounts of melatonin in it, and of course.
Indeed, and black skin can process sunlight a lot better than white skin, is where Kate was going.
Did I cut out?
You did, yeah.
Go figure. Anyway, think melatonin, right? There's a reason why, and this is where I'm kind of mirroring things as well, that we're not to worship the sun, we're to be the sun. That's how we change its consciousness. When we worship outside of ourselves, yes, it's very handy. It is a mere reflection, but we cannot worship it. Again, use the tool, don't be it. And this is what happened. This was the fall of Egypt. This was the fall of Babylon and Samaria, right? And I'm going to tie this in with what Santo teaches and what I have seen, again, in the mirror, and it's been going on for centuries. And for me, the one critical piece of this puzzle that was missing was the fact that there was this worship of the sun when you are the sun. And you're worshiping outside of yourself instead of within yourself. Everything in this physical universe, in this construct that we're in right now, they're all clues. Yes, your zodiac is absolutely critical to knowing who and what you are, what sine wave you came in at. The tools are there. It's akin to being a master carpenter and worshiping your saw and your chisel. No, you use those to create with. You don't worship them. Because who is the creator? The carpenter. Isn't it funny? That whole thing, that's a master carpenter. Tony is too. Isn't that funny? You got a couple of carpenters talking to you right now. And by the way, MJ, I want you to jump in here and maybe share something.
Just before MJ jumps in, can I just finish this one right between the nuts?
Would you?
Because
what
people are trying to do, and what these negative individuals that are controlling this situation is get everybody. What they're doing is worshipping the planetary movements, which is not in itself a bad thing. But what we're talking about here is they're using the negative aspects in order to control the human race. Now, it's not just about sun worship. It's about, the point is, all of their attention is going towards the sun and controlling this solar system or this area of space. The truth is, the sun is within you, but so is the moon, so is Jupiter, so is the Pleiades, so is all the other star systems. What they're trying to do is get you to focus on the local star, which is the sun, where in actual fact all of the stars in all of the cosmos are in you. Everything.
And Tony gets a nice shiny gold star and an apple and goes to the front of the class.
Why, thank you, dear sir.
Only you can get away with that. Anyway, MJ, why don't you share a little bit with the people, and you'll understand why I know who you are. I know exactly who you are.
You do? Because
yeah.
I don't want to speak those words. It has not made itself evident to me yet.
It will.
But I understand how you would know. I get it. I see it. I know where you fit in.
You, my friend, are a powerhouse of powerhouses. Oh, we lost Moose there.
I don't really like to think of it that way, but yeah, we all have a whole lot more power than we think.
What's your heritage, kind sir?
My heritage, isn't that funny? I'm black.
Yes,
like,
you are.
Black.
Yes, you are. You are my brother from another mother. Same one, actually. Gaia. And this is why I need to empower people. And this is not an ego trip for anybody. This is about knowing thyself, you see, because I'll tell you something. The African peoples can only have blood from fellow Africans. They cannot intermingle with the whites because their blood is pure. It's very different than ours. Most people don't know that, eh?
Yeah. That's something that I don't bring up in polite conversation. Yeah, I know a bit about what you're talking about.
You know what? It's DNA. We can talk freely here. You know, the only thing politically correct about this is that we're not politically correct. We don't care because truth is the only thing that we're after. And if egos have to get in the way of truth, then go listen to Alex Jones. He'll piss you off.
Well, first I want to qualify is that I think that basically all the races of the world basically have their, I don't know, let's take the Anglo-American establishment,
and just what it's done, just its ingeniousness, its inventiveness, it's absolutely, it's beautiful and unmatched. When it comes to, I guess, the African race, we're dealing with 10 melanin centers. So realistically, you're dealing with a life form that actually has more
turned
organs.
on DNA.
Right? So, and yeah, I've been playing with this for quite some time. Right now, I have a vitamin D count of what my doctor says really I should almost be dead. It's like 12.
Oh, wow.
When it should be like about 120 is like normal. Now, I've done this on purpose. I don't go near the sun. I live kind of like a vampire, really, when it comes down to it. I stay out of the sun. I get enough, but yeah, I keep my vitamin D count extremely low. I don't know why. I don't ask why. I just know that's what I'm doing. It seems to work for me. Yeah, there are differences with the genetic code within Africans. You can only put the African race into slavery. Only the African race will let you put them into slavery. I don't know. It's like on a genetic level, they are thinking like kind of some sort of inner knowing that goes, I don't know, that's thinking on a millennia kind of level. Thinking for now. I don't know. Africans are very, very complacent. It's something that I actually don't see as a positive thing growing up. But people of African descent seem to be more complacent with things that are unjust around them, to be honest with you.
And that is exactly why slavery was, I wouldn't even call it accepted. I mean, I've done incredible amounts of historical research from both sides of the coin. I don't take the victor's side of the story. Just the victor will always, they'll make that 18-inch fish turn into a whale, all right? And again, this is not about picking on races or setting them apart or anything. What we have here is the only thing that is in common with everything on this planet, and that is DNA. And when you close your eyes, what color are you? We're all black. Okay?
Yep.
And what you have described there, and I mean, this is just still like from last night, I'm still trying to formulate this, and this is a lot of what I went through today, so thank you for that last night, MJ. When we start to understand that they've made us afraid of the dark for a reason. You see, because they're the controllers of the dark, and they don't want to be exposed into the light, and that's the only way that the darkness can be destroyed, is by being the light. Of course, they want you to run as far away from it as possible, and they make it as scary a place as they can. I mean, look at all the horror movies. They get you running away from the dark, and guess where you need to be? You need to be in the dark, because only a son of God, ye are God, light from within, as Tony said. You are the fractal of the entirety of the universe. You want to turn your DNA on? And I urge, here I am, this blonde-haired, blue-eyed, as white as they come entity that wants nothing more than to take that whole bullshit paradigm down. I get into the sun because I want to get my melatonin levels up, right? Because only in the darkness can we shine our brightest, and that's why I picked the targets like the Vatican and the Buckingham Palace and the White House and the Rothschild banks and everything. Those were the dark areas I went after, because there's no point going into a semi-lit room. I want it where it's as black can be. End of story. Because I'll tell you, I'm a blazing sun star. Promise.
You're explaining all the disciplines that I've implemented into my world, not knowing, or just not even asking why, just because I stopped asking those little degrees of separation, the what, why, how, all that kind of stuff. I just, you either do or you don't do, you know or you don't know, you will it or you don't will it, you desire it or you don't desire it, it's just, those words, very, I don't know, the words that basically take you to a place of less thanness, and you should never be approaching anything or engaging anything from a place of less than this, in my world, anyways.
The key was B.
The key would be?
The key that you mentioned is B.
Yes.
Pretty much. And that's all we're trying to share here, guys. This is not rocket science, or as my friend Mark used to say, it's not rocket surgery. It's a matter of confronting your own shadow. We're standing in the shadow of ourselves here. Step back through the glass and watch what happens. When you look outside of yourself, you are worshipping idols. And you shall have no other gods before you. Yet we have people that worship money. We have people that worship their Saturnian empire, Satan, whatever you want to call it. You know, again, I hate the stigma that is on all these silly little words. You know, because it conjures up the pictures that have been ingrained in us so deeply. It's time to clear the canvas. You know, start understanding the concept, not what someone has sold you as a bill of goods. It's how we got entered into slavery. You know, by our own consent. You know, we've entrapped ourselves, and when we come to terms with that, we go, okay, well, I've had enough of this nonsense. And what Tony was talking about there, the entities that we're dealing with, this is one of the reasons why all the churches with these vast, Sistine Chapel, you look at all the artwork, and I will tell you, go look at Danny Wilton's work if you want to see the proof of this. Okay, and what this whole Peter worship. What's another name for a penis? That's right, a Peter. Right. Okay. At least that's what they called it, in Ireland, anyway. You know. But what they're doing is this construct is being steered towards Orion, because that's where these darkest of dark, Nordic white, blonde hair, blue-eyed, most evil entities in this universe that have created this one-level construct and made it look like 13 levels. That's why when the light beings show up, do not be deceived. And my challenge is to, nothing like going to the darkest of dark, you Nordic pricks. You want to play with me? You want to fight fire with fire? Here's the difference between me and you. You see, you're a big fish in a little sea. I am all.
You want to see a perception management theme talking about those beings of light? That's basically that's been embedded into, I guess, the psyche of many. It's the Lord of the Rings, any of the scenes, especially the scenes where they show the elves. That's preparation. That's the sort of a visual preparation for people. And like everything slows down. If you actually really pay attention to the effects and stuff that goes on every time they bring the elves onto the stage, things change.
Yeah, it's not just the effects, it's the music, the tempo, the lighting, everything changes.
Yes.
It's a complete spell. Don't be spellbound any longer. See with your own eyes. Don't see to be entertained. See to be exit-tained. Get it?
No, I didn't quite catch it.
Oh, okay. Well, entertainment, exit-tainment. Put it in the mirror.
Yes.
Don't be entertained. Exit, stage right. Okay? Have a look at it.
Gotcha. Okay, but this might throw you off. I actually take in as much media as I possibly can. Hideous amounts of media. And it tells me lots. It's like a fractal. It's like I can pick up little fractals that tell me even more. That just help me thread the needle once again on something new. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
when you crack the code, it can be extremely informative, but you need to crack the code first. I'm not saying you haven't. Yeah. I'm saying you have.
Yes, I have. It just does not have the effect. The spells don't have the effect. It's just like, because I see them through my eyes. But at the same time, it's just like, I believe the eyes are. I don't believe my lying eyes. Period. I just don't. Right? Because like we're basically in some sort of a tachyonic kind of kind of wielding, warping universe that's going on around us that we're kind of shaping. We don't even know how the eyes work. So my brother-in-law, he graduated, from the top of his class at Harvard. It's just like over Christmas dinner a couple years ago. So it's like, so can you tell me how the eyes work? And he's just like, he kind of piddled and puttered and whatever, but he still can't. They don't know. Yeah, they can do an eye transplant, but they don't know how they work. If you put, if you cover, especially with young people, you cover their eyes or with the goggles that turn them upside down, right? So their vision is upside down. Now, for the first, day or so, they'll be having troubles because obviously their vision's upside down. That's all they can see, right? But they find that within about 24 to 36 hours, what happens is that the vision actually flips over and calibrates, even though technically they're looking at something that is upside down. And then once they take the actual goggles off, they'll flip back again.
Yeah, nothing like
no one knows how the eyes actually work.
Nothing like a magnetic pole shift, eh?
Exactly. Well, we do know it's the science of light. If you were going to find out how the eyes really work, you'd have to use the science of light to do so.
Well, I see one eye as a projector and one eye as a screen. And we're connected with antenna. You can call it the trinity within the hippocampus, pituitary, and pineal, right? The Eye of Egypt, when you look at that, is the template side on of the brain, human brain. And of course, where's the eye? Well, the hippocampus. And that is that which connects to the higher self, the God essence, you, the real you, the puppeteer. And, one eye projects out, the other, the Illuminati are famous for the one eye covering, cover the screen, baby. And one eye projecting out, the other receiving the information, so you're getting the higher self creation. So we need to reclaim our higher self, which is the stir, the divine feminine. And we got about 4.5 minutes left here, so I'm just going to do a quick shout out to criticalmassradio.co.uk. Again, in appreciation, most humbly, to Paul, Lisa, and the crew at Critical Mass. You guys have no idea what you did. And all I'm trying to do is prove you right. And I think we're doing okay. I think we're getting there, But I just wanted to make sure that people knew that. And I'm going to get into, for those listening, you will want the archive because I'm going to get into the Yellow Brick Road in the recording, and I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Just remember this, everyone listening, look up In Toto, or Toto Genere, that's Genere, Toto Genere, in Black's Law. And you will be surprised to see what it is. And of course, there was a picture on my Facebook page today that had, of course, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion with Dorothy, and someone who has got, and I looked at it too, I said, where's Toto? And someone with keen eyes to see said, where's Toto? You're Toto. Take the hint. You're the whole character. That's what In Toto means. It means you are operating in your spirit, mind, body. And guess what you become when you find that? Untouchable. That's why I'm looking for these Nordics. Come on. You big fish in a little sea, I'll show you what a big fish in the entire sea can do. And I will do it with love. And I will give you a choice. Unconditional. Choose light or choose dark. Either way, you will not be in my consciousness anymore. And that's what they're afraid of. So when these guys are pulling these porn stunts, fear porn stunts, look at them for what they are. They're trying to ramp up all the desperate emotions. And they do a pretty good job of it. And I do want, MJ, I want you to touch on something as well with regards to look at what Rome did to the blacks in terms of religion. And I got to tell you, if you want to feel power and passion, you just get your butt into a church with all black people, and you're going to feel love. And now we just got to redirect that power and that energy back to the original love. We need to be searching for the divine feminine, which is easy to find. We're steering towards Cygnus now. That's my choice. Anybody else wants to? Knock yourself out. No more towards Orion. I'm heading towards the Swan. And you know what the Swan is? Divine feminine. Cygnus trumps it every time. Shall we? Okay, everyone just... Did I go off air there or what?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, do you know, I want the perspective, like, you know what I'm saying, though? I got to tell you, I love watching a black service. Even look down in New Orleans when they have funerals, and, you know, they celebrate life, and it's so powerful. What I want to do now is just take that beautiful love and light energy and swing it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'd like to see that energy go somewhere else, but I don't have the same kind of romantic feeling about black churches, to be honest with you.
Well, it's just I'm just talking of the energy that gets generated, albeit exactly. A misguided energy, but it's to feel that passion, you can feel it.
Because black people, like especially church black people, are just like so complacent. I'm sorry, I'm black. I'm very, very black. So I'm not making a racist comment. I'm just saying, it's just the way that it is. They're very, very within my own family. They buy into the whole world. It's just like I don't know. They're very, very much like there's I don't know. Well, obviously in every group, there's always a small percentage of people that are always going to be looking, into the unknown or what the unseen, but I don't know. I just don't. Yeah, that energy would be nice to channel it, and I think it can be, and I think it will be at some point, in some way. But
it's just institutionalized again.
That's it.
Yeah. They're so heavily institutionalized. They really have bought into the whole.
Well, here's a question. I got a question for everybody. This might solve it. What color is your DNA? I wrote a line in a song many years ago, 1991 to be exact. And the line is this, and it always stuck with me. I'll upload the song. Actually, I do have a copy of it somewhere. But the line is, because a blind man sees more, because he sees with his heart. So we need to become blind in the dark in order to find our way out of here. We got to be our own light. No one's coming to save you. You're it, because you're the universe. Tony, you said it very, very well. Contained within you is everything that is external. We just got to kind of turn ourselves inside out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really is that way. There's been numerous times throughout this conversation tonight I've wanted to just so much interject, but I haven't. But we could have gone so deep. It would have been ridiculous. So, but yeah, we are. Matter is only one state of the universe, of consciousness, of energy, of flow, of motion and stillness. I think that's gone deep enough. We exist in all states, not just one or two or three. We're in all different states. Everything is constantly in motion.
Yep, infinite. Now you got to find the emotion, control it. That's called the no motion stillness. Because in that stillness, that's when you get a chance to talk, i.e. your higher self. And it comes in through able. Do you want to walk with a cane, or are you able to do so? Got a cane ever since. It's just a coincidence that a cane, is a character in their literary works, and something we have to walk with, like my dad did, and that was another clue. And of course, Abel, being female, you see what they did? They taught everyone that it was two boys. They really got this issue with the father and the boy thing, eh? Like, oh my God. Anyway, and look what's happened. You wonder why there's pedophilia? Well, of course, that's what the religion is all about. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. I talked about this last night. I don't need to belabor the point. But the simple truth is, when you get into the stillness of you, the most critical, most beautiful aspect of your bright and shining star within, turn it inside out. But you got to shut up, and you got to tell Cain 9, the growly wolf on the left side, to shut up. The only thing it's useful for is to analyze. And there's that word, analyze. Okay? You ever hear the expression, stick it where the sun don't shine? Well, it's time to start shining where the in that spot. You know, the anal light I call, analytical. Time to get into the dark, boys and girls. Time to not be afraid of the boogeyman anymore. Time to own the boogeyman, because the boogeyman is powerless. I know I've been attacked by one. And all it took to get rid of it was to look at it and go, oh, you. That's the best you can do? Ha ha ha. Poof, gone. The only power they have is that which you grant it. If you are in fear, you're feeding it. Lose the fear, get in gear, and kick the living shit out of the dark and be the bright shining star that you are. That's your Emerald City, boys and girls. That's your Green Lantern. There's another one you should be watching. And of course, at the end of the movie, I don't know if they were coming out with another one, but there was the yellow ring of fear. And it was the only thing that could control the master's fear. Take the hint, right? Master your fear. You know, you'll either let it rule you, and of course they've done a great job with these physical meat sticks, in that they're, quote, terminal. They're vessels. And I'm not making less of the human body here, guys. I'm just trying to separate you from the meat stick. That's the car. You're the driver. The car ain't going anywhere without you. And as soon as you throw that car down, i.e. drop your luggage, it goes back to where it came from. Gaia. Right? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Okay? And they've got everyone convinced that somehow that's the end, and it's not. It's just one piece of the puzzle. And you've lived countless, infinite lives in so many different forms, so many different variations, to experience ourself, the great ourself, the one, the only you. You're it. And you need to say that to yourself. This is all about you. Of course it is, because it's all about me. Why wouldn't it be? You never stopped and wondered, am I the only one in consciousness here getting this game? Or what is my purpose? Why do I feel the way I do? Of course you're the one. You just got to take responsibility for it. You know, and there's many of us now. Oh, we are countless now. Countless. This vibration is rising so high. Those that have the free will choice to do so, great. And those that don't, well, they'll come up to a certain point, and as soon as the critical mass is met, twinkling of an eye occurs, and those above neutral, i.e. the ones that are done and want to carry on, move on to a different game, poof, gone. And the ones that don't, well, poof, gone. And here's the thing, my feeling on it is, when that occurs, you won't remember anything anyway. I'm talking the ones that get left behind. It will be as if we never existed. Because in reality, we never did. We never mattered. Get it? You know? So anyway, just waxing a bit of eloquence and philosophy tonight, because it's been a beautiful 24 hours of realizations and epiphanies. And I got to say, last night was a beautiful pivot point where we're no longer tolerating fear points. You know, if you want to come in with, you know, piss and vinegar and garbage and all the rest of it, well, fine. I'm going to take your garbage out. You know, it's like last night, good example. Someone comes in with, you know, all this is happening and this is happening, and look at you empowering it. What do you want to empower, the good or the evil? Which wolf are you feeding? You know, you've all heard the story. You know the one. You know, which wolf wins? Well, the one that you feed. So how about you feed the other one for a change? You see, because that's the wolf of love and joy and absolute infinite beauty that is being starved. Time to feed that now. And as soon as you start feeding that wolf, guess what it starts to consume? The dark. And that's the one thing for me that is, I know, is the one thing that those that wish to continue controlling are desperately, desperately afraid of. And my epiphany today was, great. Yummy, yummy. This wolf's hungry.
Can I just elaborate on that for a second, because I want to go back to something that we've mentioned in the past, and that is, if you look at the courts of justice, the royal courts of justice in London, for an example, you'll see a lion on the left and a unicorn on the right. And the lion on the left represents the strength of those Christ did. Not Christ, well, they say it represents the strength of Christ, but it's the Christ did. In other words, then once you get this strength, once you get this information, you will be empowered beyond your wildest imagination. And on the opposite side is the unicorn. And the unicorn represents the spiritual essence of Christ, which is this information, this connection to your comprehension that once you get who you are, you will be free of the chains. Now you'll see on the unicorn on the right hand side that it's bound by shackles by the neck. And there's several things about that one particular crest. One is that the chain...
Tony, I'm going to jump in here just for a sec, because I need people to get this visual. They're not. The unicorn is not shackled at all.
No, I know, that's what I'm about to explain.
Yeah, bow to stern, baby. Sorry, go.
Exactly. All the unicorn has got to do is lower its head and the chains will slip off. That's where I was going. But the point being, as I said, I was explaining the fundamentals of what the crest is showing you. And it's showing you to your face if you can decode it. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was decoding the things that they're showing you right in front of your very eyes. It's
like the crest or the Christ?
All of it.
Yeah.
All different aspects, like the Union Jack. If you look at the Union Jack and look at the big red double cross on the front, guess what? It's a double cross. It's obvious once you can see it. And
that's what we're dealing with. If you look at the Illuminati, one of those pictures, by the way, is very clear. If you watch, it takes a lot for to be able to stop at it, but it's just in the twinkling of an eye, and it has all the symbologies of the Illuminati, and that's in the Gravity Falls cartoon series, and it's right at the very beginning, and it turns upside down before it disappears, but you can't notice it until you actually slow it down by stopping it at that point. I do want to mention we have Jim in the call, yes?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, before you start talking, I want to let everyone know I had a great conversation with you this morning. And and are you seeing you're seeing Oz now, aren't you?
Do what?
You're seeing Oz now. Our conversation this morning, I'm like, oh, here's someone that sees Oz. It's beautiful.
Well, I guess you could say it that way, yeah. But I just the reason why I kind of butted in here is I wanted to make a comment to my brother Tony, and based on a comment he made about 5 or 10 minutes ago. We don't need you to hold back, Tony. If it doesn't matter how deep you have to go. If you have something to say, the world needs to hear it. It doesn't matter.
Hear.
It doesn't matter how deep it has to go. We need to hear this. And we don't need you to hold back. We need what you have. And that's all I had to say. I love y'all.
Yeah,
great.
So stop being a selfish little prick, Tony. Let loose.
Oh, lovely. Cheers.
Oh yeah. Well,
no, I'm serious, Tony. You gotta spread it out, brother.
Yeah,
you gotta spread it out.
Tony thinks nobody will get it. I've heard.
Well, we're not going to get it if we don't hear it.
Exactly. So either put up or shut up. That's how I look at it.
Anyway, that's all I had to say, and I love y'all. And
beautiful.
Kate, I appreciate the conversation this morning.
It was good, eh?
Yeah.
Well, it started me on a road to epiphanies today, so I see that's why I love driving, because I get into this beautiful zone, and I talk to myself, and I answer myself. Right? Well, I mean, hey, we're the great ourself. They say, here's the thing, too. They say, well, if you're talking to yourself, you must be crazy. What do you think we're doing talking to each other? We're still talking to ourselves. There's only one, I got over it. How about everybody else? It's okay. I love this. There you go, Tony. You just had you just got your marching orders there to put up or shut up. Let's get on her, buddy. Rock and roll.
No, it's all right. I completely understood where Jim's coming from, and it's all good. It's all kosher. It's just that I try and explain some things sometimes that are so deep that I've not actually tried to verbalise them. So I find myself in a position whereby, how the hell do I explain this one?
No, you just start same way I do it, Tony, because I'm in the same boat. There's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to convey, and I'm thinking, oh God, how do I explain this and how do I explain that? And of course, being a writer, in that regard, I will say there's probably a minor advantage there because I've done it my whole life, and I know you're a writer, you got books, right? So, but I got to tell you, I know your shovel. You've got a monster shovel. Stick it in the ground and start digging. With everyone is, you'd be amazed. Just start talking about the concept and just let it flow. And everyone knows you're this gentle Taurian, very well grounded and very polite, and you're a great listener. Santa has told you many times, so have I. It's time for you to be a great talker too. You do bring in the Gemini part, your third deacon, Taurus. So start talking, baby.
Let me just explain.
You know what? Go ahead, Tony.
Let me just explain it this way. Hang on. Pardon me. Kate, you've seen the book. Kate, you've seen how I've explained things in the book. I can put things together very analytically so that when you read the book and you look at the information, you click on the links, you get a very good understanding of what I'm saying and how I'm backing this up. Now, what I'm trying to look at or explain to the guys listening today is that there's certain things that need putting into the correct format before people stand a cat and owl's chance of getting it. As you know, because you do it. As I know, because I've done it. I put it into a book in a way that can give everybody the ABC, then the words, then the sentences, then the paragraphs, and then the whole page after page, and then the chapter, and then they get it when it's in the book. But if I just try to explain it, blah, 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 you're not going to even have a clue what I'm talking about. All I can say is, in a nutshell, there is an etheric frequency that has a geometric shape, and within that geometric shape exists matter itself. And I mean all matter.
Yeah. Keep going.
I don't need to. I've said it.
No, I want you to keep going, because...
you might. But that's what I just hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. Now, there are people listening now that are way above our heads, literally and spiritually and physically, that understand exactly what I've just said, and they're going, oh my God, he's got it. I know I've got it. The problem is explaining it to everybody else, and you know exactly where I'm coming from, Kate.
Yeah, I'm still going to call you chick and shit anyway, but, put up or shut up. I'm going to keep...
listen.
I did listen. I heard you. I heard you, and you keep crutching back to it. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
No, you didn't fucking listen.
Yeah, I did. Actually, I've heard the same story for the last, year?
What did I just say?
You want to put it in the book because people just won't get it.
No, I just told you what it was. You missed it.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. I said there is a force, there is an energy field, and I'm saying it again to your edification.
Right, and I'm gonna accept it, rise above it, and say it has no control over me. That's what I'm getting at, Tony.
Well, you are it. You're part of it. Everything's part of it.
I realize.
All that exists within it.
I will not be an effect to myself, is what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. That's the point.
I'm just pushing your buttons.
I know you are, and it's not working, is it?
No, I just want you talking more. I mean, Jim made a very poignant point.
Expand on what you're saying, Tony. Expand on it. Don't stop. You got to expand on it.
He won't.
All I can do is repeat what I've just said.
See? He'll go circular on you. I'm a bitch, I told you, but you're going to go circular. You're going to keep doing the same thing over until you put up. Right?
Oh, dear.
Sorry, you're called out. Jim called you out, and I'm calling you out.
Well, Tony, you've got...
Tony... I was going to explain, guys and girls, but I've been unfortunately rudely interrupted, so I'm just going to rest my case until the book's out.
There you go. Right, so you go. Now, the point is, Tony, what we're trying to say to you is we want to hear what you have to say. And that's it. Just, you need to talk. Whether we get it or not, it's irrelevant. Just get that energy out there. That's all.
Yeah. And Tony, when I listen to you, I sit there and I think, wow, this guy's a genius. And but you don't, you kind of hold back, and you don't want to try to explain where you're coming from, and it kind of troubles me, and I'm going, this guy has so much information in his head that, oh man, I wish I could crawl into his head and figure out what's all in there.
Oh man,
listen closely, and you will be able to.
Exactly. You just got to get him talking more. That's the only thing, And here, Tony, take the compliment. All right, take the compliment.
And that was a massive compliment.
Huge.
And the whole everything that I've said is a compliment to you, Tony. You need to share your knowledge.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It doesn't matter if we don't get it. It doesn't matter if we don't get it.